What's up, Falcons Nation? It's your boy Jew coming at you with another Atlanta Falcons video. As always, Falcons Nation, rise up. In today's video, I'd like to talk about tight end Kyle Pitts. And is Kyle Pitts currently on the trading block? But if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell so you know when I've done Atlanta Falcons content or NFL content. If you'd like to follow your boy on Twitter and Instagram, you can follow me at Jew Talk Sports. If you'd like to donate to my channel, you can donate to my Cash App, which is the $ Jew Talk Sports. And if you'd like to be a part of my Jew Talk Sports membership, you can hit that join tab here on the channel as well. But with that being said, let's jump right into the video. So as I mentioned in today's video, I do want to talk about tight end Kyle Pitts. And is Kyle Pitts currently on the trading block? Now, there has been numerous reports today that has come out on social media that the Atlanta Falcons possibly could trade Kyle Pitts and that multiple teams have reached out in possibilities of trading for Kyle Pitts. And I do believe that these rumors are true. I do believe that Terry Fontenot has had phone calls with other GMs around the league, possibly inquiring about Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts was drafted in the first round, I believe, at that number 4 pick about 3 to 4 years ago by our Atlanta Falcons. Coming out of the draft, I did state that he was a generational type talent with his speed, with his ability to go and adjust to the football in the air. He is one of the most athletic tight ends in the NFL. And I do believe he still has a high ceiling. I believe Kyle Pitts is only about 23 or 24 years old. So personally, if I were the Atlanta Falcons, I wouldn't trade Kyle Pitts at this point unless you're getting back another impact player on the defensive side of the ball. I personally wouldn't trade him at this time. If they decide to trade Kyle Pitts, I will wait till mid-season before the trade deadline and see how this season pans out. If the Atlanta Falcons, around that time, meaning when the deadline comes around or rolls around, if the Falcons are not in playoff contention and if we're having a losing season, which I don't foresee, at that point, I can understand moving Kyle Pitts because at that point, you don't want to allow him to walk in the offseason as an unrestricted free agent. But I definitely would let this season play out first because we have a new quarterback, first-time starter, in Michael Penix Jr. We've seen last year that he started to develop a connection with Kyle Pitts. You've seen him throw the game-time touchdown to Kyle Pitts on 4th down in that game against the Washington Commanders. And being that Michael Penix is one of those guys that's willing to throw the ball all over the field and throw the ball to the open man, I really feel like Kyle Pitts could be unlocked by Michael Penix Jr. Last season, Kyle Pitts did struggle with Kirk Cousins out there on the field because Kirk Cousins couldn't make every throw. There was numerous times where I seen Kyle Pitts wide open. If you go back and watch some of those games where Kirk Cousins overthrew Kyle Pitts, I don't expect to see that out of a quarterback in Michael Penix Jr. because he has a strong arm, because he's able to hit all layers of the field. I really feel like Kyle Pitts is going to be one of those players on this team that could benefit from playing alongside of Michael Penix Jr. And personally, I could see Kyle Pitts getting an extension from the Atlanta Falcons if he balls out this season. But I definitely feel like at this point, Kyle Pitts is playing with house money. And the Falcons are playing with house money. As I mentioned, I would allow the season to play out. If Kyle Pitts is struggling throughout the season before the trade deadline and the Falcons are not in playoff contention, at that point, I would look to move Kyle Pitts. Or if the Falcons phase Kyle Pitts out of the offense, similar to what we seen last year, where they were throwing the ball to other guys like Darnell Mooney, they were throwing the ball to guys like Drake London, giving the ball to Bijan Robinson, and even throwing the ball to guys like Ray McLeod. If Kyle Pitts is not being an impact player, if he's not having any type of impact on the team, at that point, I would look to move Kyle Pitts. But I don't feel like the Falcons would be a better team getting rid of Kyle Pitts. Like I said, unless you're bringing in another impact player on the defense with trading Kyle Pitts for this season, because the Falcons must win this season due to Terry Fontenot being on the hot seat, due to Raheem Morris being on the hot seat, I really feel like it's going to be important that we have all hands on deck And I really feel like this Atlanta Falcons team doesn't get better with trading a guy like Kyle Pitts. Another thing that we want to factor in is injuries. If you get rid of Kyle Pitts for some reason and you have one of your big dogs go down, a guy like Darnell Mooney, a guy like Drake London, that opens the door for another playmaker. And at that point, if you've traded Kyle Pitts, now you have to rely on guys like Warner, who's the backup tight end. You have to rely on other guys like Cordero Hodge on this roster. So I really feel like the drop off would be huge if you lose one of your top dogs as far as the receiving in the receiving core. So you always want to have as much depth as possible. And I really feel like because Kyle Pitts is one of those guys that's versatile, not only can he play that tight end role, but we've seen in his first season with Matt Ryan playing alongside of him, he's also a guy that can line up on the outside as a receiver as well. So I really feel like Kyle Pitts has a ton of value, and I wouldn't get rid of Kyle Pitts unless the price is right or unless Zach Robinson, in this offense, he wants to play more 3 wide receiver sets and things of that nature, and they're not going to use Kyle Pitts. That's the only reason I see the Falcons trading Kyle Pitts before this season gets underway. But personally, I think that Kyle Pitts has a ton of value still for this Atlanta Falcons team. And at this point, the Falcons are in win now mode. I don't really feel like the Falcons necessarily are looking towards the future. And personally, I don't believe that they should be looking towards the future because the guys that are in the front office at this time, in the coaching staff and things of that nature, I really feel like they have to put up a winning season or things could, get ugly this offseason. So with that being said, you guys give me your thoughts on Kyle Pitts. Do you believe that Kyle Pitts will be traded before the season or at some point this offseason? Personally, I could see it going either way. It just depends on, what the front office feels about Kyle Pitts and what this coaching staff feels about him. Personally, I do still think that the sky's the limit. I don't think that he's hit his ceiling. He is a guy that's extremely talented, and I really feel like there's been other factors outside of Kyle Pitts that has affected his game, like quarterback play, like coaching. I really feel like those have been the bigger issues when it comes down to Kyle Pitts. So with that being said, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button for your boy. I have a lot more content coming for you guys. As always, Falcons Nation, rise up, be blessed. Peace.